Now, if you're watching this video, well, of course you're watching this video and you would like to make an extra 10,000 each and every month. Okay, fine. I'm not talking about a huge chunk of cash because I love talking about realistic figures. 10,000 Kenyan shilling, that's not a huge chunk of cash. I mean, and if you can get an extra, no matter how much you earn, if somebody shows or gives you 100 or 10,000 each and every month, can it solve some things in your life? Probably can pay your bills, can pay maybe your electricity, can pay your water, and can pay your Wi-Fi. Isn't it a good cash? Amazing. Today I'm going to show you exactly what can you be able to do so that you can earn an extra 10K. And if we can solve the equation of earning 10K, you can incorporate the same idea to earn more than that. All right, so if you're looking forward in earning 100, 200, 300, you can actually use this idea and be able to grow yourself to the next level. All right, so jump with me on this board because that's where I'm going to put some things. And by the way, do this. If I'm sharing this video with you for free, go ahead and like the video and make sure that you subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I upload a new good video. Let's get into the business. Now, here we are. We want to earn an extra 10K. And I'm going to give you, first of all, I'm going to start with my own simple example. This is what I do. First of all, I do have friends and I've actually put them in quotes because they are really not friends. They are people who are strategic. And this is exactly what you can be able to do. See, what happens is that maybe say you are employed. Depends. Let's say, for example, you're employed from 8 to 5 p.m. Starting a business can be a little bit tough for you. That's very true because the most productive hours have already gone. Okay, then it means you either start a business that you can run it, let's say, for example, from 6 a.m. all the way to 8 a.m. That might be a little bit tough. I'm not saying it's not possible. It is very possible. Or probably you run a business from 5 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. But again, basically the most productive hours of a human being are taken off by your employment. Okay, now what do you do? In this case scenario, there's something called funding the startups. Funding the startups. Okay, it's a very new idea. You can take it in Kenya and it can actually take you places. Now, funding the startups. Instead of going overly, for example, what business do you love to do most? And this is an idea that you can actually use. What business do you love to do most? Hey, I love starting cereals. I love doing clothing. I love doing whatever. I love doing hardware. I love doing all those kind of things. So why don't you get your hand into that business indirectly? What does it mean? Get yourself a strategic person whom I'm calling a friend or friends who is operating the business. Get to agree with them. Have a discussion. Get to understand how the business is running and tell them. Not all of them will accept. I have to give this disclaimer. Not all of them will accept. But if you can have an individual who can actually accept the idea that I'm about to share with you. Okay, the idea is this. Instead of starting a business, you can fund a startup business. And now the question is this: what business are you getting yourself into? Obviously, do not approach a very big company or approach a very serious big business, somebody who is not even having any problem. For example, let's say you want to start a hardware business and then you approach a guy who is running a very big hardware. And then you tell them, I would like to give you 200,000 of Pi that I have or 100,000 that I have. The guy will be like, are you joking or something? I don't need that amount of money. But if you can find a business, there's always that business somewhere at the corner. You feel like, that business can do very good, but the guy doesn't have a potential. Probably in terms of the finances. If I can throw my 50 G's into that guy, or maybe throw my 100 G's into that guy, I can be able to make some things. And obviously what you get as a return from a business is way bigger compared to that what you get from an investment. Let's say you have your 30,000. Let's say you have your 50,000 somewhere you've set aside. And if you put that in a money market fund, obviously you cannot get 10,000 a month. That's very sure because investment, they have low risk because they have low returns. But businesses, they have high risk but high returns. Let's say you have somebody, for example, I have a guy who sells the sneakers and what have you. The guy, I'll be like, you know what? I see your business has a potential. What if I throw this chunk of cash to you? It's not huge, but at least can you assure me that 10,000 can actually be gotten? The guy was like, yeah, absolutely. Actually, the guy was telling me, if you can give me an X amount of money, I can give you. The guy was telling me I can give you 20. I said, no, I'm going to give you this and I'm going to need 10,000 from you. But now we are at around 12,000 or thereabout. So the question is this: find out a startup business, find out the thing that is happening right now, put some cash into that, but do not put it in a very, very informal way. You have to have a written document. Front your ID, front his ID or her ID, have your agreement signed, of course, in the presence of a lawyer or an advocate. Lawyers or advocates do not take a lot of money. I think we paid like 1,000 shilling or something or so just to get the sign to make sure the guy is actually, has witnessed the signing of that agreement. Or maybe you can go to a chief's place or a DC's place or whatever the thing is, just formulate that agreement, and then you have a formal agreement. This is what I'm going to be doing and you can do this. Because Because I have some people, they are my friends, you give them cash, then the next minute they disappear, or maybe the next minute they violate all the rules and regulations that you had laid before. That can actually get yourself into lots of problems. That is exactly what you not do. Okay, now here you are. So you do have some cash. So I think the next question should be, how much do you have? How much do you have? How much do you have? Let's say somebody has like 50K with me. I have 50,000 with me. Now I want to use this 50,000 to be able to make me 10K each and every month. Well, it's a little bit of a steep goal, but it's possible. But when you talk the language of 100K, you want to make 10K a month. That's a little bit making a little bit of sense. Now the question is this: where do I take this money? Obviously, she's taking that money into a what? Into an investment. Go fund up a startup business. It can be, doesn't have to be like mine sneakers. It can be the eggs business. It can be the clothing business. It can be the barbershop. It can be the beauty business. I love to. I really wish you can get the message that I'm trying to drive home. Don't sit somewhere saying that I want to start a serious business, but you've never gotten yourself into a serious business. Go look for a serious business that is existing. Fund that startup business. Have an agreement with that guy, so that at least when you speak the language of the serious business, you are learning something. You are learning and earning at the same time. It is part of your business. You own a fraction of that given business. And this is how we calculate the thing. For example, let's say you go to a serious business. The guy has a serious business. It's not that huge, or it's huge, depends with your capacity. Let's say the serious business of that guy is worth 150,000. If you sit down and calculate all the money that in that specific business, it's add up to 150,000. The pallets that are there, the counter, the stock the guy has, and what have you. So the guy owns this business 100%, which is, it's 100%, the business worth 150,000. Then you bring your 50,000 into that business. Therefore, the business will be worth 200,000. Okay, everything calculated. Now the question is this: how much in terms of the fraction and percentage has this guy lost due to actually getting this 50,000? Okay, now what happens? The business is worth this amount of money. So therefore, this is how we calculate. If 200K is equivalent to 100% of the business, then how much is 50,000? How would you do? You take 100 multiplied by 50,000, okay, divide by 200K. This is simple terms, how you calculate the percentage that you will own in that business. Okay, okay, this is what happens. Now you own 50, is it 50? What am I? You own what? This is 10 times 5. 10 times 5 is equivalent to 50, divided by 2 is equivalent to 25%. So simply, you own 25% of that business by simply you pumping in 50,000 into that business. Now, guess what happens now? If you own 25% of that business, my pen has refused to work with me. If you own 25% of that business, and say in a typical month, you guys makes a profit of how much? Throw a number out there. Let's say you guys will make a profit of around let's say 40K, 40,000 a month. This is what you've made. Now, this 40,000 is equivalent to 100%. So if you own 25%, the owner of that business or the previous owner owns 75% of that business. So you guys will make a profit of 40,000. If you make a profit of 40,000 is equivalent to 100%. Therefore, how about 25%? How much that will be? 10% of 40,000, that is 4,000. 20% of 40,000, that's another 4,000. That will be 8,000 plus another 5,000, which is equivalent to 2,000. Guess how much is it? This is 4,000 plus 4,000. That is 8,000 plus 2,000. You have your 10,000. It's as simple as that. You have your 10,000 at the end of the month. Did you just see what I've just done there? 25%, 4,000 plus 4,000, 8,000 plus 2,000. You have yourself a what? You have yourself a 10,000 by simply having the 50%. If you were to take this 10,000 in equivalent to 50,000, tell me how that percentage it is. That's a huge chunk of percentage. That's like a 20% return in a month. Now, this is a business. Not all the times this will happen. At times this figure can drop to 30,000. Therefore, it means obviously your return will drop. At times this figure can go to 45, can go to 50, depends. But now, whatever you're getting as a return is far much bigger or better compared to that what you've gotten from an investment. And that's why I always tell people, if you have around, let's say, 10,000, let me say 1,000 shillings all the way to 100,000 in between, I will highly recommend you focus on getting into business. Focus into getting into business where you multiply your money at a faster rate compared to you getting into an investment, because that's a slower rate. But depends. If you have 1,000 to 100,000 and you're a young individual, let's say from 20 all the way to 40 years. They're about focus on getting to the business, multiply the money so that you get into the investment. Why? Because what you're suffering from is not an investment. It's not lack of investments. What you're suffering from is actually having the cash to invest yourself. That is exactly how you do it. It may sound simple, but it isn't that simple. But what you're supposed to understand is this: commit the money that you're having. You're going to have two challenges here. Challenge number one, finding an individual who will accept to liquidate the business. But now the point is this: you cannot, for example, let's say this guy is able to make 40,000 using the existing 150,000. And you tell them you're going to pump in the 50,000 for them to make the 40,000. It doesn't work that way. But if you can tell the guy how much you're making of now, 40,000. So if I pump in my 50,000 here, you're going to make more than this. And if you make more than this, what you take home, it's going to be much bigger than what you get. And again, you tell them, what am I bringing on board? I'm good at numbers. I'm good at what you call the management. I'm good at actually sales. I'm good at this. Not only money that you're giving this individual, but you have to bring something extra and you push the next level. Let me tell you one secret. Some people may not actually agree to liquidate some of or give an equity of their businesses. But if you're a business person, this is actually can be used as an exit plan. This is a plan that you can be able to use it so that you can be able to grow your business and move it to the higher levels. That is exactly what you can be able to do. But if you cling to the whole 100% of your business, then it means to detach yourself. Have you ever seen people who operate a business but they cannot be able to get out of the business? You are held captive by your business. It is always good to for example, take an example, somebody like Elon Musk. Elon Musk, he does not own 100% of Tesla. I think it's 25 or 30% or thereabout. 70% he has given it out. A decision can be made in Tesla even without his presence. You get what I'm saying? So that at least you can be able to think about a thing. For God's sake, you have an extra life. But we Africans, what do? You own something, you own 100% of a goat. What if you actually bring investors to your business and you can own 10% of an elephant? That's like a cow. So you're earning more. So it is always good to make sure that the moment you start a business, have what we call an exit plan. Have board of directors, and then you're owning a business. You own 100% of that business, and then you're calling yourself a CEO. CEO of what? What does a CEO mean? Chief Executive Officer. So there must be other officers that you actually execute. You cannot call yourself a CEO and you own the house. No, you cannot do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's always good to have an exit plan, understanding of how can I actually snatch myself out of the business so that at least I can be able to leverage the business, can actually be able to grow itself and move to the next level. Now you as an investor, remember the topic of the video is how do I make an extra 10,000? That is exactly kind of a formula that you apply and be able to make some cash and you move to the next level. It's as simple as that. If you do not have the skills and whatever, leverage on the money. That's what you do. The guy has the business, has a platform. You can now use the money, help the guy to grow the business to a higher level. And also he helps you or she helps you to also move to another level. And that is exactly how you complement each other. Now that's how you make extra K, by the way. Not just 10, but more than that. For now, it's a goodbye and see you the next one. But never forget, if you'd like more elaborate at a personal level with this kind of skills, you can always grab the number from the description of this specific video, shoot me a call, and we can have a discussion. For now, it's a goodbye and see you the next one.